All right, this will be a review for some of the folks who missed class on Thursday. We're doing this in the fall 2024 semester. So this is to set up our views for our small house. So you're going to make sure that you're opening your small house project. So in my case, it's the icon here that's white. It says Conway Small House. I'm going to click on that. Basically double click twice, like left double click. That's going to open up in a second. I'll kind of pause that as it's getting, oh wait, nope, there it is. Came up pretty quick. Okay. So I'm going to show you a couple of things. So we're going to open up our construct. So I'm here on my construct. I'm going to my base house plan. Remember, this is where we're doing the majority of our drawing. So we're drawing everything but the floor finish plan in here. So right now it's got all of our furniture. It's got all of our plumbing, our appliances, things like that. So what we did together in class is we set up some more views like we did for the floor finish plan. So I'm going to show you what my kind of finished ones look like, and then I'm going to give you prompts on how to set this up yourself. I don't want to delete these, so when I'm going to start making examples of these, I'm going to make new ones, but just call it like floor plan 2. In your case, you're going to use these names: floor plan, furniture plan. You should already have a floor finish plan. All right, so I'm going to just walk you through them a little bit, and we're going to talk about kind of all the steps that we want to make sure to have. This is basically the last step before we start putting it on paper and printing it out, which we're going to do during the week before the fall break. All right, so I'm going to open up floor plan just so you can kind of look at it for a minute, and we're going to talk about what elements it should contain. So if we look down here at our scale, first of all, you want to make sure this is at a 1/4 inch scale. We'll talk about that as we set up our sample one. This plan, we're going to have the furniture turned off, but we do keep on built-in objects like our cabinets here. There's an island. In my case, this is like a built-in like shelving, maybe bookshelf unit. So that stays on the plan. All of our bathroom fixtures stay on the plan because, again, remember, multiple people in the trades are going to use this. So your plumber, your builder, the folks coming with the cabinets, they all need this information. We also are simplifying this too by turning off the furniture because there's going to be more dimensions and things we might need to put on the inside. And as these construction sets get more kind of complicated, more sophisticated, they're going to get more complicated. So the things to watch for that I'm going to demo in a few minutes are, you're going to have a title mark here. So again, this is drawing number 1. It's called floor plan. That's the scale it's on, a 1/4 inch. We're going to add a north arrow over here, and we're going to add a scale. Then what you're going to do, we worked on this in class and then did for homework, is dimensions. So there is a separate video explaining to you the kind of standards our program uses to make dimensions. So you're going to need to watch that and follow along separately. All right, so that's what the floor finish plan is going to look like. The furniture plan, I'm going to open that up for a second too. That's pretty self-explanatory. It's the plan, but with the furniture turned on. And the only things you need to add to that is a title, this north arrow, and a scale. There's a nice quick fix to this. Is once we do this once, we're just going to copy and paste. So I'll walk you through that. But basically, this drawing is going to be completely done for you to hand in to me. So I'm going to close that now. I'm going to close also the floor plan. And then, let me save that. All right. And then the final one, which we set up together in class, not on Thursday, but I think on Monday together or earlier than that, was the floor finish plan. So this is what it should look like. You should basically have a map of the types of flooring that you're proposing to put in this house. Again, there's a title down here. So it says floor finish plan. It's got the scale. It's got the north arrow. It's got the scale there. You're also then going to make yourself a key. So what you're going to do to get this is basically I drew a square once. Then I used the copy command up here. I had ortho on and I just kind of pasted them down in a nice, clean kind of vertical row. I didn't watch my spacing, but I eyeballed it to try to make it look as close as possible. Then I hatched each one individually and used match properties to like match the hatch to the square. I may go back and clean these up a little bit because like maybe this one isn't as obvious that it matches that one. You can make your squares a little bigger too. So then we went over to our tool palettes. And so I'm on the document tool palette. So if you're not on the document one right now, you're going to right click and pick document. Some of you might be in design. So you want document. Up at the very top, there's a text tool. This can be a little fussy. So in class, what we did is if you start with the default, you left click once, you pull it horizontally to the right, left click again, and then it's kind of hard to see with the zoom commands here. Let me get it out of the way. But then down below on our command line, it's asking you what's the first line of text. So I'm just going to put sample text. Now in construction, we put everything in all caps because it makes it easier for folks in the field to read it fast. So then once I'm all done, I basically keep hitting enter because the other options it was giving me was like, where do you want to, if you want a second line of text. Now this is kind of meh. I mean, it's not terrible as a font, but we played with it in class where if you click on this font now, if you go over to properties, if you scroll down, there are, there's the content. So that's what I wrote. Here's the text style. You only have about 3 or 4 like options. We picked this last one, dynamic dimensions. It just looks a little nicer. And I'll show you this one here is a little bit bigger. So we'll scroll down and show you the size of it. So this one is 1/8 of an inch and it reads a little bit bigger. This is actually correct, this size, because we're going to print this plan out pretty big. But again, in the field, in my real world jobs, we often play with these fonts, make them bigger. In my own CAD setup at home, I have more fonts loaded, so I use kind of prettier fonts, so to speak. But we want to err on the side of legible fonts. I'm not using cursive or anything like that. I usually just like use Tahoma, which is just a nice kind of chunky font. All right, but that's what you need to do to finish this plan is make this little chart. So again, that's part of homework and getting caught up if you were absent and adding these pieces. So I'm going to close this down and so this you all should have already because we did this together in class, but I'll help show how to set up a floor plan and a furniture plan. All right, so what you need to do is you need to be here on the View tab, over here on Project Navigator. My base plan is open still, that's fine. This means like if I change anything, when I go to XREF it, I'll talk about that in a second, then it's going to update all my drawings for me. So here I am in Views. I'm going down to the bottom here to the second button in where it says Add a View. So the first one we did in class together, we said Add a General View. And you're going to type in floor plan. I'm going to type in floor plan 2, just so it doesn't override what I've been working on. So floor plan for you, and then click next. First floor plan right there, click next. And then you're going to uncheck at the top, scroll all the way bottom, pick your base plan. So what it's doing is now it's XREFing, means it's pulling it into this drawing. So we're going to hit finish, and then we'll open this one up. So we'll open it here. And some people were scrolled way out, but most of yours, it should kind of pop itself down into whatever corner you originally had it set up for. All right, so that's looking pretty good right now. So for our floor plan, we need to turn off the furniture. So what we're going to do is go up here to layers. We use the freeze button. It's basically right there in the middle. It looks like there's a little snowflake. So you're going to click on freeze. You're going to click on your furniture. Now, we had some folks in class where not all the furniture disappeared. So what you have to do is go back to the base plan and check on what layer that piece may have been on. So it might have been on one of the manufacturer's layers, like a couple of people who got some commercial pieces of furniture. A couple folks also had back here in the plan kind of like little dots and things like that. Do not worry about the dots. We know that that's kind of a quirk with CAD, that they're actually coming from the CAD blocks. But if you have things that are still on the plan there and you can't figure out how to clean them out, just check in with me when we're in class and I can kind of help troubleshoot it. Because it happened to a couple folks in the class. All right, so the next thing we want to do is put a title mark down here. Now this floor plan, again, is where we're going to be drawing all our dimensions. So I'm going to put my floor plan somewhere around here just so we can kind of see it a little bit better. So let me go over to here to tool palettes again. This time we're going to call outs. And then it's the second to last option. It says title mark. So you're going to left click on it once. And again, you're going to, so you get this like cross hatch here. So I'm going to bring it down to about here. I'm going to left click. I'm going to horizontally drag it over here, left click again. And now it's there. Oh, wait, I just realized one of my mistakes. We're still in 1/8 of an inch. All right, so actually we're going to delete that. So before we go any further, go down here to where it says 1/8 of an inch. We want to change it to 1/4 of an inch. So when we bring in the new title mark, you're going to see that it's substantially smaller because we're changing the scale of not only the drawing, but also all of these little tags. So back to callouts. click the title mark again. So we're going to do left click to here, pull it over, left click there, and see how much smaller that is. All right, so that's good for now. I may move it up. Well, no, we'll leave it there for now because you're going to need to put all these dimensions in. All right, so you're going to zoom into it. Where the circle is and the question mark, you're going to double click on that circle and up because it's going to pop this window here. So where it says value question mark, you're going to delete that and put 1. All right, you're now going to double click on the question mark there on the top of the line. This is where you're going to put the name of your drawing. So you're going to put all caps back on if it's not on and put floor plan and just say okay. All right, now we talked about this. You can leave this 1/4 inch. It's auto-filling because you picked the scale down here. So remember when I did it wrong the first time, it was at 1/8 of an inch. This is okay. Sometimes this gets a little wonky in CAD. You can go and print it out and all of a sudden there'll be like hatch marks here. If that happens to you, I'm not taking points off because I know it's a weird CAD thing, but sometimes I get in the habit of literally just deleting the autofill part and writing it myself. So as we go through the semester and you're doing more of these, if you see this come up, that's kind of a way to clean it up. All right, so that's our title there for our drawing. Now we need a north arrow and a bar scale. And again, usually we put them kind of down in this right-hand corner as sort of the standard for that. So if we go back to tool palettes, instead of callouts, we're now going to pick annotation at the very top. And the north arrow is about halfway down. So I'm going to click north arrow. Make sure you have ortho on. See if I do. I've got my zoom in front of it again. Oh, I got to turn it on. All right, there's my ortho is on now. It's blue. So now when I left click once to place it, then I left click. I basically can use my mouse to rotate around. In class, we all decided we're just going to assume north is up on this plan. So we're going to click there. I may move this over just a tiny bit because I know this piece of paper, I know roughly what size we're going to print it out. So I'm going to put it about here. Okay. And now the next thing we need is we go back to tool palettes document. This time we pick bar scale. A similar kind of thing. We're just going to left click here and make sure ortho is back on and then left click to the right. So it's going horizontal for you. And then it fills in for you. And again, this 1/4 inch is tied to the fact that we put 1/4 inch here already. So that's good to go. All right. So this will be the drawing that you're going to put all your dimensions on and room names, which we're going to talk about in class Monday. You keep them very generic with room names. What you're going to use is back here on the tool palettes document. You're going to use the text tool. You're going to use all caps. You're going to have like primary bedroom. You can write just bath for here. It does not have to be bathroom or primary bathroom. For closet, you can write CLS as a shorthand. You would put, kitchen somewhere here, living area here. This might be office. Again, CLS, bath, bedroom, or guest bedroom, CLS. And this might be just like mudroom or entry. Sometimes, again, you have to err on the side of using a smaller word just to not crowd things up. All right, so there's basically your version of setting this up. Now, before we go any further, capture all of this bit. Let me see, make sure I have it all. Hit Control C. Now we're going to set up our furniture plan. So we're kind of going to pull that in a second. Just review. Remember, this is an XREF. So any edits you want to make on this, you have to go back to your base plan. So if you make a change here, it'll update over here on the view. Okay. So on the next view we're going to make, on the view tab, we're going to go to the second button in, say add a view. And this time again, it's add a general view. And you're going to call it furniture plan. I'm going to put a 2 at the end of mine just so I don't override it. So you're going to just have furniture plan. Next. First floor. Next. Then you're going to uncheck at the top here, scroll all the way down, check base house plan, finish, and then we're going to open that up and look at it. All right, that should end up basically in the same exact spot as all the others because it's XREFing it in right where I want it to be. Before I go anywhere, I'm going down to this 1/8 of an inch, changing it to 1/4 of an inch. Now, I'm not going to do Control V here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to right click, go to clipboard and say paste to original coordinates. and then boom, it lands exactly in the same place as it does on my floor plan, which makes your drawings kind of look nice and kind of neat and laid out. You may, depending on when we start laying out our paper, it's not incorrect to actually move this whole batch a little closer, because this drawing, the good news is now completely done. Like, you are ready to put this on a piece of paper and print it. So furniture plan, basically, once you put, oh, sorry, this is when you go over to model here. Once you put the title mark in, the north arrow, the bar scale, your work is done on this. So we're going to close that up right now. I'm just going to say save it. So again, review is for the floor plan. Your work is to put all of the dimensions in and all of the room names. And then on the floor finish plan, you're going to make sure that's all done. And then you're going to also copy and paste these in. So you can use the same technique to do the right click, clipboard, paste your original coordinates, and then you have the title in there. Oh, let me remind you though, for each one, you're going to change the title. So this one is the floor finish plan. Let me bring up the furniture one so you can see. This one here, because I copied it but didn't edit it yet, you're going to double click on that. And then you're going to write furniture plan for this one. So furniture plan. Okay. All right. So the floor plan is obviously named the floor plan. Furniture plan, the furniture plan. Same with the floor finish plan. The numbers all stay the same. And I'm going to explain that more, especially as we get into construction documents. But for now, those of you who are out of class, I did explain it to everybody, but we're going to leave that one here. And if you want me to explain it in person, I will too. All right. So just trying to keep this video short for you. So this is what folks who are, if you were out or out sick, this is what you need to do for homework, in addition to getting as much as your dimensions in here as you can. So let me show you kind of mine really quick. I started it in class demoing it to people, but the majority of class, once they got started, actually was able to finish it in the studio class. So the goal is to come in Monday. Those of you who are out, make the best effort to get all of this in here. And then I'm going to sit with everybody one by one and review it and help clean it up. And we're also just going to talk about putting room names in too, to make sure everyone's caught that. All right. Hope this helps. I know there is a lot of work for people who've been out. So if you need to, please reach out to our peer tutor. So if I'm not available, she may be also to be able to kind of help you kind of work through some of these things too. All right. Thank you.